Dear students, in this video, we shall see if conditional clauses and their inversion. If conditional clauses are complex sentences with two sentences, one main clause and one subordinate clause. If is a conjunction which joins both the sentences. Let us first see the different kinds of conditional clauses. We know that there are four kinds of conditional clauses: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. In all the conditional clauses, we have two sentences. One is the conditional clause and the other one is the main sentence. In zero conditional clause, both the condition as well as the results, they both have simple present verbs. For example, if glass falls, falls is in simple present. It breaks, breaks is also in simple present. Let's see one more example. If you heat ice, it melts. Heat is in simple present and melts also in simple present. Zero conditional clauses are generally the facts which are true or scientific, which means that the result is always the same. For the condition, the result is always the same. For such kind of conditions, we use zero conditional clauses where the result is also given in simple present tense. Now let us see the first conditional clause. In first conditional clauses, in the condition the verb is in simple present, whereas in the result we use will or won't plus verb, that is V1 form of the verb in the result clause. For example, if it rains, we will cancel the trip. Rains is in simple present, so will plus cancel is V1 form of the verb. Let's see one more example. If I need money, I will ask my mom. Need is in simple present tense and will plus ask is V1 form of verb. First conditional clauses are a possible situation in the future, that is predicting a likely result in the future, that is if the condition happens, that can be the result. The difference between zero conditional and first conditional clause is that for the condition, the result is always the same, so we use simple present in result clause of zero conditional clauses. Whereas in first conditional clause, we may have different results, so we use will plus V1 form of the verb. Now let us see the second conditional clause. In second conditional clauses, in the conditional clause, we use simple past and in the result clause, we use would plus V1 form of the verb. For example, if I wrote fast, I would finish on time. Second conditional clauses generally are hypothetical or unlikely situations, that is unreal or improbable situation now or in the future. Generally, we cannot have a condition in the past, but these are unlikely situations, so we write in the second conditional clause. If they sold their houses, they would become rich. Here you can see in the conditional clause we have used the simple past form of the verb, and in the result clause would plus become, that is V1 form of the verb. Let us see one more example. If I were rich, I would help the poor. Here we have used the be form of the verb in past tense where, and in the result clause would plus help, that is V1 form of help. So second conditional clauses are unlikely situations. Let us see the third conditional clause. In the third conditional clause, in conditions we use the past perfect form of the verb in positive or negative form, that is had or had not plus V3 form of the verb. Whereas in the result clause we use would have or would not have plus past participle, that is V3 form of the verb. Let us see with examples. If I had one, so past perfect form of the verb is used here, had one. If I had ₹1 crore in a game show, I would have quit my job the next day. So in the result clause we have used would have plus V3 form of quit, that is quit. Let us see one more example. If I had not driven so fast, so past perfect form in negative. If I had not driven so fast, I would not have slid into the tree. That is in the result clause we have used would not have plus slid, that is V3 form of the verb here. Third conditional clauses are conditional clauses where something has already happened and the person imagines a different past that did not happen. All the conditional clauses after the condition, a comma must be given. It is not compulsory that in conditional clauses the condition must come in front. Even condition can be written as a second statement after the result. Now let us see the inversion of conditional clauses. First let us see the inversion of zero conditional clause. The basic rule of inversion is that we should omit if in all the conditional clauses. So let us see with the examples from zero conditional clauses. If glass falls, you have to remove if. Since the word inversion means that the general sentence structure of subject verb is not followed, whereas verb comes in the beginning. So when we are writing the inversion of zero conditional clause, we have to remove if first and we have to begin using the verb should. Should follow with the subject glass. Should glass fall, it breaks. Here we have to remove the comma that is given in the conditional clauses. And also remember that if glass falls, we have already used the auxiliary verb should. So we don't use falls for singular subject. So we use should glass fall, it breaks without a comma in between. Now let us see the next example. If you heat ice, it melts. Remove if and add should at the beginning and it is followed by the subject you. Then heat. Should you heat ice, it melts. So inversion of the sentence structure, verb, subject and the sentence follow. And in all the inversion conditional clauses, the result remains the same. There is no change in the sentence structure of the result. Let us see the inversion of the first conditional clause. There is not much difference between the inversion of the first and zero conditional clause. Here also we remove if and the comma and there is the inversion of the subject and verb. So let us see with the examples. If it rains, we will cancel the trip. So the inversion of the first conditional clause also begins with the verb should. So if is removed and should is used to begin the sentence, then the subject it. As I told you earlier, the singular form of verbs are not used even if the subject is singular or plural, since auxiliary verb should is used to begin the sentence. Should it rain, we will cancel the trip. The result remains the same. We have to remove only the comma. If I need money, I will ask my mom. So if is removed, the sentence is begun with should followed by the subject I. Should I need money, I will ask mom. If he calls, I will invite him. Remove if, begin the sentence with should followed by the subject he. If he call, I will invite him. So singular form of the verbs are not used. Should he, call only, not calls. I will invite him. So remove if and comma when you are writing the inversion. Let us see the inversion of the second conditional clause. Here also removal of if is the same. First we remove if and also we have to remove the comma when we are writing the inversion. So let us see with example how to change. If I wrote fast, I would finish on time. Something which is not possible. A condition in past is not possible. So you are beginning the sentence here with where. So where is the be form of the verb? We must begin all the inversion of the second conditional clause with where, then followed by subject. Where I, and you have to make the verb as infinitive. So the verb in the first example is wrote. That has to be changed as infinitive. In infinitive form, we write 2 plus V1 form of that verb. So V1 form of wrote is write. So it is where I to write fast, I would finish on time. The remaining sentence follows as it is in the conditional clause. So you have to remove comma in between. Now let us see the next example. If they sold their house, they would become rich. So you have to remove if, begin the sentence with verb where, followed by the subject they. The verb in the sentence is sold. That has to be changed into infinitive. To sell. So V1 form of sold is sell. Were they to sell their houses, they would become rich. The remaining sentence follows as it is. Let us see one more example. If I were rich, I would help the poor. Here in this conditional clause sentence itself, where is the be form of the verb in past form? We don't have any other root verbs there. So when such kind of sentences are in the second conditional clauses, you have to just interchange the place of verb and subject and follow the remaining sentence. So here also first remove if, begin the sentence with where, followed by the subject I, then continue the sentence rich without a comma in between. Were I rich, I would help the poor. Now let us see the inversion of the third conditional clause. Here also if is omitted and comma is also removed. Let us see with example. If I had won 1 crore rupees in a game show, I would have quit my job the next day. So first you have to remove if and begin the sentence with the verb had. So here also we interchange the place of verb and subject. You begin the sentence with had, followed by the subject I, then continue the remaining sentence as it is without a comma in between. Had I won 1 crore rupees in a game show, I would have quit my job the next day. Let us see another example here. If I had not driven so fast, I would not have slid into the tree. So when you are writing the inversion, begin the sentence with had. You should never contract when you begin the sentence. That is, you can't use hadn't I not driven so fast. Contraction of had not should not be used in the inversion, and you have to begin the sentence with had and change the place of the subject. Had I not driven so fast, and continue the remaining sentence as it is without a comma in between. Had I not driven so fast, I would not have slid into the tree. I hope, dear students, you would have followed all the 4 conditional clauses and its inversion. Dear students, refer this tabular column for easy understanding of conditional clauses and its inversion. Subscribe to watch the other videos and get updates on new videos. Like and share for the benefit of others. Thank you. Happy learning.